First question. Why do so many people stop training when they have kids?
Because they're lazy.
Anything more compassionate than they're lazy?
Well, not really, no, because surely having kids, the way I view it, have kids that should actually prompt you to want to train more and better and actually get it, sorted out. Well, there's Lily coughing in the background. No, I don't understand. It's genuinely it's an alien concept to me how someone could find out they're going to have a child and then just decide that, do you know what, I'm just going to give up training now. Like, you have a responsibility, a moral obligation, moral imperative, actually, to set an example to that child of what it is to have a healthy, smart relationship with exercise. And instead, you're just going to sit around moaning on the sofa in your stained joggers, getting fat, watching your body fall apart, and your kid has to see that. And then what are they going to do? Well, they're going to copy you as they get older, aren't they? So they're going to lead a life where they get fat and out of shape and they're miserable and all of the bullying that comes with that. Oh, I suppose the kids don't really get bullied for being fat these days, do they?
Mm.
But the point is they're not being set up for a long, happy, healthy life.
Yeah.
So no, unfortunately, I don't have anything more compassionate to say about that.
But Phil, it's hard. It's not a choice. It just happens.
No, it's lazy, isn't it? I genuinely,
Mm.
if anyone who's kind of entrapped by that narrative to the point they actually believe it, there's nothing I can do to help them. And ultimately, I'm in the business of helping people solve fitness problems, but to want to do that, they actually have to want to do the fitness. And I'm not here to enable someone's bad choices. And I know that saying this sort of thing costs me lots of business, and that frustrates you greatly because you like shoes and and other things that women like. But I just can't be doing with the stress and hassle. I've seen too much, done too much over the years to really be bothered with any of that. I'm afraid, Jess.
Next question then. Is it possible to raise fit and healthy kids in today's toxic culture?
Yeah, it's easy. You just got to show them the way. You lift weights a couple of times a week. Your training sessions built around the basic barbell compound movements, so squats, deadlifts, presses, pulls. And you go for a run a couple of times a week. Distance you know that you can comfortably manage at a pace you find reasonable. And then over time, you try and do a little bit more. Not necessarily more sessions, but you add a little bit of weight when you're truly dominating the weight that you're using. You maybe run a little further, and that's all you do. And then you do that, and your kids see you doing that, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, Dad, Mum, can we go play at the park?" And then you take them to the park, and they engage in that fitness, and then you get to a point where you've got a 5-year-old, and you go to Sports Direct to buy a new pair of trainers, and she comes up and she says, "Daddy, I want to buy a Dumbo," which is not Dumbo the elephant, it's dumbbell. She wanted to buy a dumbbell for herself. Every time we train at my mum's house because she's got the remnants of all the gym I used to own, and in her garage, and I don't want to train at a proper gym anymore because there's too many bloody OnlyFans girls filming content, promotional content, and other. I just can't stand gyms anymore. But anyway, and she'll just appear at the garage door and want to watch and want to join in and do her own training. Not all the time, not every time, but enough of the times. Probably what 50% of the time when Connie's there, she'll come and
Yeah, at least come and talk to us and
yeah.
be interested in what we're
And
doing.
sometimes she shows her brother at home. She'll show her brother about exercises and teach
Mm.
him to do some little exercises. He's like 3. How old is he? No, he's not 3, is he?
It'll be 3 in November.
Cool, it'll be 3 in November. Yeah, see, there we are. And it's not hard. It's not a big deal. You have to not make it a big deal. But if you make it another thing, if you make training a big deal and you complain about it, or I've got to go training today, or it's this big thing, or if you're one of those like weirdos, particularly like triathletes are really bad at this, and like runners who like make it their whole life and they're out like doing endurance training like 3-4 hours a day, then it becomes something that's just like weird and a bit of a burden. And I won't just dick on runners here. Weightlifters, bodybuilders, particularly bad at this, but also like powerlifting types. They train in 6 days a week for 3 hours. Like that. That's not something that your kids are going to find attractive, and they're obviously going to reject that, aren't they? So
And resent it. It's taking you
precisely,
away
hence they
from.
reject it. So
Which leads nicely on to what do you do if your wife or partner doesn't want you to train or doesn't train?
get a new wife or partner. Well, you should have married her in the first place. You can't really get divorced, can you? That's not right. You don't break contracts. But um, yeah, make better choices about about who you date, and don't marry a woman who's not into training, or who is not necessarily not into it, but is oppositional to your desire to train. That's something that's really dumb. But if you're just dating someone, just get rid of them. Really, there's a meme that was going around when I was at uni, and terribly it's terribly cringe, but it's kind of true. My girlfriend said if you go to the gym one more time, we're going to be over, and it's like, oh, now I'm getting a new girlfriend or something. It is.
What if you were that person who wasn't into training, and now you've become you've decided now's the time to make a difference?
What do you mean? Oh,
And
what? And
yeah, you both weren't.
same advice applies as what it applies to kids. You just get on with it and you don't make a fuss. I had a client of mine. He's a
Mm,
good bloke. He's father of 7 children. And he let himself go on the training front, so it's not like he was starting from scratch.
mm,
And he'd come to work with me. We sorted him out, and within a couple of months, his missus wanted to start training, and he had a conversation with her, set some expectations. As I understand it, actually, of what happened there, and he just told her to do it, and he said, "You can have some. Here's a budget. Go and do what you want." But equally, there's another guy of mine, probably a better example, who his girlfriend's just like, "Oh, can I come to the gym with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he does his stuff, and he makes sure he sets a really good boundary, and he's like, you need to go and do your bits. I'm going to do my bits. We
mm.
can do some stuff together for doing some exercise, but I do need to do my training. And she just kind of copied what he did, and she apparently she's been reading my newsletters and that I send him and stuff, and that's just how it is. It basically the fundamental thing is you just have to not make a big deal out of it. Just do it, and if you do it and you don't treat it like a hobby, you treat it like a job. So you just do it, and it's non-negotiable, and you don't make a fuss about it, and you do it in a way that's efficient and effective so you actually get results, then I can't see any reason why they wouldn't want to join you in some way, shape, or form, or at least not undermine you if they
Mhm.
love you. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're doing that, then obviously you're in an abusive relationship. So I'll go and see a marriage counselor or something. But
Mhm.
anyway, I'm rambling now. Next question, I think.
Where do you see the fitness industry going? Obviously, we've got accelerating obesity rates, so people less interested. Where do you think the fitness industry is going to go in the
I
next?
don't really see it going anywhere. All the stuff I'm seeing is it's just recycling of what's been before. More things change, the more things stay the same. Um, I think the there have always been nonsense quick fixes being sold. You go back all the way to the 1920s, I think, with like Charles Atlas with his chest expander, that very famous advert with the young lad who's very skinny, and he gets the bully, pushes him over, and steals his girl. So he buys the Charles Atlas chest expander and does this particular type of training that I believe went with the chest expander. And then he comes back like having put on like 50 pounds of muscle, and he's big, buff, and he beats the bully up and gets his girlfriend back. Like eh, that that core offer has not really changed in the
Mm.
fitness industry. It's how do I get big, strong, and lean um, with the minimum of effort, ideally yesterday.
Yeah,
That's it's always been the
that's
thing.
what the fitness
Like Jess,
industry is
I bought
built
into
on.
it when I first started training. Like I remember buying some maxi muscle fat burning shawls. I had to hide them under my bed because my mum thought the supplements were steroids. So I hid them under my bed. And I think I only had about 3 of them, and then I realised, oh, this is nonsense, isn't it? And
Mm,
but the point is that that core value proposition is always there, and we're just seeing variations of that. Yeah, obesity spiraling, so probably see more weight loss stuff. We're already seeing, you know, get your Majano script and stuff. And I know of personal trainers, online personal trainers who offer pharmaceutical advice along with their training and diet plans, and those people will always be there offering these quick transformation programs. But what works has been known for. I think everyone knows deep down what actually works. You only need to do like the most cursory of research to know what actually works and what doesn't. Like no one like I think people buy these offers for the same reason people play the lottery.
mm,
Like they know when you buy a lottery ticket, you know that 99.999% of people who buy a ticket, including you, ain't gonna win.
mm,
But you still buy the ticket anyway. So people buy these fitness offers knowing that they don't work most of the time, but hoping that one of the few times they do work, because they do work,
Mm.
something in or rather they can work. You'll be one of the few people that it does the job for.
What about going back to these weight loss jabs? Because
Yeah.
they do seem to be working for quite a lot of people, and they appear to be a low effort.
Oh, weight loss jabs absolutely work. I mean, I'm not really qualified to talk about them a lot because I'm not a medical professional anymore.
What impact do you think they'll have on the fitness industry? That was my question.
Oh, what impact do I think they'll have? I think they'll get. I think that the bottom end of the market, so um, people who are kind of crappy clients who were never going to stay very long, never going to really do the work, never going to engage. Obviously, they're not going to be available anymore. But they're the sort of people who buy £15 an hour PT sessions at Pure Gym or wherever.
Mm.
They're not really relevant
Yeah,
to me. So I tend not to think about them so much. And obviously, I've got a zero tolerance, no drugs policy, haven't I? Which would
yeah,
include weight loss injections.
yeah,
Because people, if you're genuinely sick enough to need them, it's not safe for me to train you on a remote basis. And if you aren't sick enough to need them and you've lied to get a prescription or you just bought them illegally, then I don't want to touch you with someone else's dirty barge pole
yeah,
because we're just not going to work well together.
yeah.
So there we are. So I'm really a bit of a non-answer to your question, I'm afraid, Jess.
No, that's fine. What about AI in the fitness industry? Do you think?
Oh, Chat GPT, prompt yourself a workout plan. Yeah, loads of people do that. Loads of people will be doing that. I know people will be doing that. People will be telling me they do that.
Mm.
I think it's silly because AI is the output is the average of its input. So you're only ever going to get a
Average.
raw average, fairly generic routine, no matter how well you prompt it.
Mm.
The other side issue is the hallucination phenomenon. So AI just like making stuff up. That can potentially be injurious. You could spit out something really rather dangerous, and that's only going to get worse as AI content feeds upon AI content for its own training
Yes.
material. So that's only going to get worse. So yeah, it's absolutely something you can do if you're cheap and you don't want to find and pay an expert to sort you out with something that's actually suitable for your needs. But again, it's not something that really interests me. That's not to say I'm anti AI. I think AI is a very interesting thing, and obviously we use it to do our book covers sometimes as a basis for our book covers and stuff, don't we?
Mm.
But I'm just going to wait for the dust to settle and figure out what's genuinely useful about it. But
And this isn't just fitness related, but what about AI in marketing? Do you think it's going to have a big impact on consumer confidence? Because obviously there's like deep fakes and stuff that you can take pictures, you can make stuff up and make it very convincing on video and
oh yeah, but again, I call back to my earlier answer, Jess. The the thing is that it's still going to be to sell those offers that everyone knows don't actually work for most people, but they buy hoping they're going to be one of the few people that it works for. So again, it's a very little interest to me anyway, and it's not going to change. I'm not going to change what I do in response to it because again, I might make a little bit more money, but it's not worth it to me because it's kind of dealing with people that I don't really want to be dealing with fundamentally. So yeah, cool. That's 13 minutes. So if you've listened all the way through, like the video, subscribe to the channel. But better would be to visit the URL that's displayed on the screen, philtimon.co.uk, and opt into my daily email newsletter if you are not already opted in. And that will be enough for now. Tripping over my words.